Alright, this is not a quick speed shot. Bam, I'm back here working on 40 Mercury. I'm working on the trunk latch. It got way worse. It took me all day to fix it. I got it going. We're going to do that and some other stuff starting right now. I'm a professional. Don't try this at home. Alright, welcome back. I'm back at it here, working on 40 Mercury. And what I got going on today is I'm doing some more trinket work here. I got an issue with the deck lid. I fixed the mount. If you saw last time, I drilled a safety hole to get to the latch down here. I had some issue with the pin up here. Was cracked and had broken through the sheet metal here. And I removed that kind of crudely, but I've got to cut this whole section of the deck lid out and weld in a new piece and make a new mount for the pin, because this is kind of weak sheet metal here. So I'm going to cut it right around here and replace that. So I'm just fitting up my deck lid. I got it mounted last time, and just trying to see how it closes. Now it goes down here and it closes on the gap good. I got good gaps around the edges, but up here the top of the deck lid is sunk down in from the body quite a ways, and down here it's flush everywhere else. So I'm going to make some shims to put in the hood hinges, or the deck lid hinges here, and shim the top of the deck lid out a little bit to get it more flush with the body. Right now the car has no seal in the deck lid itself, which I have a new seal that goes in here, but the sheet metal is down a little bit. So they make body shims for this type of stuff. If you ever worked in cars, they make rectangular shims with a slot in them. So I made my own. I've taken some washers and cut some slots in it. And what I want to do, I'm in the shadows, is I'm just going to come up in here behind between the deck lid and the hinge and slide these shims up in here, and that'll lift the top of the deck lid out and line it up with the body. I'm going the thickness of a regular washer here. That should be close. I'm down about that far. So I've cut some slots in here just with a hacksaw, and first I'm going to stick to. I've got my deck lid squared up, so I'm going to loosen the bolt up a little bit, stick it in here, and shim one side at a time, shim the deck lid out, and then go from there. So let's see how we can do this. I might just need one shim per side, because I can mount the hinge at a little bit of a gap. So I'm just going to unsnug. I'm just going to loosen that up just a little bit. I'm going to loosen this one up some more. I think the deck lid will push away there. I can just take this shim and stick it in the top bolt for now, if it'll go. Get in there. Loosen this up just a little bit more. I don't want to lose my alignment. I want to lose my alignment. Oop. I've lost my alignment, but luckily I can see where the paint is. I can see where the paint is here, where the hinge goes. Okay, so I've got my shim just in the top bolt for now. That will rock the that'll rock the deck lid ahead enough. It's like a three-handed operation here. Here we go. Oop. Right about there. Go ahead and snug it back up. I want to check the fitment. A lot better. It's flush in here, sticking out just a little bit right here at the body, but it's like flush in the middle. Okay, after a little bit of action, I had to make some new shims. The half-inch washers are too thick, so I made them out of 3/8 washers. And now I've got the deck lid is just under the surface here. I got a real close point here. You can see the paint's all knocked off, where it looks like some body lead or body filler coming around the corner here. I might address this or take the file and just file just a little bit of the corner of this deck lid off to get some more clearance so that paint doesn't chip off. But I've got the deck lid so it closes down. It's now just below the surface. When I had the 1/2 inch wash in there, it was just above it, which I didn't want it. So it's just below it. So that seems to be working out all right. I've got the a reproduction foam gasket that goes in here. And this, just kind of slap this on here. This clips on like that, and then you use some weather strip adhesive and glue it on there. So let me shut it down. Let's see if I can approximate. No, I can't. Well, I had this in here before, and I approximated that it does touch the seal when the deck lid is down now, so that's good. Let me see if I can maybe hang it enough to show you. Let's try that. Well, I can't show you without gluing it in there. But it does touch the underside of the deck lid here, so it will seal the deck lid. So I got that straightened around. As you can see here, I've got this hole in the deck lid. I've actually got to cut it back into here. It's got a big crack in it here, and this whole area is weak and has been welded up a couple times. So I'm going to cut this out at a later date and replace this whole area. These original bolts are where the original latch came through. I think it had a striker pin that came through the bottom through this hole. But I'm going to make a new, reinforce this and make a new striker bolt to go down to the latch. I want to get the car functional here. I can tinker with that a little bit later. So I think the next thing is, let's see here, let me think about this. I've got the fuel system hooked up, all the clamps are on. I think I want to get out the vacuum brake bleeder and we'll try to bleed the brakes. I've got some brake fluid. I bought this just from Harbor Freight. It's a cheap vacuum pump bleeder where you pull vacuum. So I'll fill up the master cylinder and I can use the tubing and the hookup here and suck it through the brake wheel cylinders. Hopefully it'll suck the fluid into the chamber and it'll bleed the brakes with this instead of doing it the regular way with the pedal and all that. But we'll see how it goes. So we'll open this up, we'll try that out. And the reason I want to use this is the brake line goes up in the air. The master cylinder in this car is in the frame rail below the floor where a lot of these early Fords were. There were a lot of early cars in the 20s and 30s had the hydraulic master cylinders at the frame height, so it's hard to get the fluid up and over, especially up over the rear end kick to get to the rear wheel cylinders with gravity bleeding and then pressure bleeding. So I'm here by myself, so I'm going to try this unit here. So we'll pop this open and see how it works. All right, here we go. I got the vacuum bleeder set up, all hooked up. Let's go ahead and get under the Mercury and we'll try this thing out. I'm doing a separate video on like an unboxing and a tool review on this thing. It's Harbor Freight number 63391 if you're interested there. And I think it was like 40 bucks or something like that. But I've assembled it with the can to catch the brake fluid. We got a fitting on here to get on the wheel cylinder. Bleeding screw. So we're going to go under the car and we're going to put the suck on it and see what happens. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to loosen up my bleeder screw. That's open. Now I can take the vacuum pump and attach it to the bleeder. You can see on the gauge. Now it'll probably drop down a little bit because that bleeder screw is loose in the wheel cylinder a little bit, so it's not going to make a really tight seal, but I can pump this up. And I also made sure to make sure my master cylinder was full on the rear brake reservoir. So I'm going to just go ahead and pull some vacuum on this. We'll see if it sucks any fluid. Nothing yet. But I put new rear brakes and rear lines on this car, so I've got a lot of air to suck out of this before it should suck fluid. So we'll pull it down a few times and see if it can draw any fluid back here to the back of the car. I went and I worked the brake pedal a whole bunch of times and I put some fluid in. I'm just starting to see a little bit of wetness coming into the hose here. So it's starting to do something. I got a feeling I'm going to have to pump the brake pedal and pump the vacuum pump to get fluid to go past the residual pressure valves. But I can see a little bit of fluid starting to do something here. It's pulling air through. I mean, this is a lot of volume. I got to go with this line. All right, I got some fluid at my driver's side wheel cylinder. I just cracked the bleeder and some fluid was there, so I'm going to crack it and we're going to use a vacuum pump and see if we can see. Now we got fluid running down the line. Oh yeah, this is getting a pain to do here, but see my fluid. I'm not really noticing too much benefit of having the vacuum bleeder unless I'm not doing it right, but it could also be I don't have enough fluid in here yet. Okay, I feel a little dumb here. I wasn't opening the bleeder far enough. So let me draw some vacuum on this and I'll get this opening farther. You hear it sucking air there. It's taking it now and it brought some fluid in. Got some more in the hopper. I'll put the hopper up where you can see it. Oh. Need like 7 more hands here, but I've got some fluid in the hopper now. So this appears to be, there we go, it's sucking air. So I just wasn't opening the bleeder far enough and it wasn't making things happen. So let me, I'm still got to do my same process where I got to pump it up and hold it. It's just like bleeding brakes regular, but this is drawing the air out of the system, so I can hold vacuum with the bleeder open, then close it and not have any air go back in. That's what the beauty of the vacuum is. See, I'm still holding a little bit of vacuum even though the bleeder's closed. So that allows you to not have air sucked back into the system. I guess that's what one of the perks of having this is. So I'm just going to keep working it. All right, let me show you what I'm working with up here. So we got this 1940 Mercury. You got standard original brake pedals, but it's hooked up to a master cylinder and a power booster off a newer vehicle. The master cylinder hole, if you can see over here, is down in the floor by the shifter. You can see down there, we got the master cylinder way down there in the hole, so it's kind of hard to get to, and the seat won't go back far enough for me to get the door all the way, so I could use a funnel to fill it, but I'm getting to it. The pedal is pumping up good. I'm using this pry bar to hold the pedal down. You can see it's only down about halfway now. I've got a firm pedal and it's working good. I'm getting solid fluid out of the lines. Okay, so I think I got the brakes bled for the initial setup here. With the power booster, it's hard to tell without running the engine, but I've got good pedal pressure now. I've got no air coming out of the rear lines, so it's going to be good enough to give me a starting baseline. I'll probably re-bleed the car after I get it down on the ground and drive it around for a little bit just to let the air work through. But it seemed to work all right. The vacuum bleeder there seemed to help. When I put the pressure on the vacuum system, it allows the fluid to come out, but no air to go back in. And once I realized I had to open up the bleeder some more, it seemed to work better. But I was able to get the fluid through the system. I just had to, because the master cylinder is so low and the wheel cylinders are up here, I had to keep pumping the pedal and holding the pedal down and then letting it go through like a standard brake bleed system. But the vacuum bleeder seemed to help out a little bit, getting the fluid pulled out and help me do it by myself. So got that done. All right, you know what? Before I can get the car down and put gasoline in it, since the gas tank is in the trunk, I don't want to have a bomb here while I'm working on this deck lid here. So I got to fix this latch area of the deck lid before I can put gas in the tank, just for a little bit of safety action here. Alright, so next day I'm back at it. I got my patch laid in here. I used a piece of 16 gauge that's a little bit beefier. I've just got it laid inside the deck lid just a little bit behind this to reinforce it. I'm going to weld it all the way around up here, and then spot weld it to the lip, because this lip is a little punky here. I don't want to burn through. I don't want to wreck the paint on the top of the deck lid. And then I'll just do a little bit of seam sealer. And then I have access. I can spray some primer on the back side of this and probably do a little bit of fluid film in there to get down in the seam of this deck lid and protect the metal from moisture getting in there to ruin it. I see this is sealed up tight. I'm going to drill a couple of drain holes just to let any moisture from rain or water when I wash the car to get out of this deck lid, because it'll pool in here and then rot this thing out. So just going to take the MIG welder and just kind of slowly burn it in. This metal is a little thin here. It's a little thinner here, but we'll weld that up good, and that'll make a nice structural repair right here in the center of the deck lid. And then I'll work on fabricating the pin to latch this thing and get our latch on. Okay, got her all welded up there. I had just a little bit of warpage. Started, get out of there. Where the deck lid skin is here, you can see it's pulled away and it's got a crack. It got hot and it warped a little bit of this. I just got a hammer and dowel. I got to tape this painted edge up. It wanted to bubble. There's filler in this and made a bubble. I was able to cool it down with some spit, actually, and cooled it down and got the bubble to retract. So it's almost invisible, but I got a little bit of warpage in the deck lid right now. That's a bummer. Luckily, it's down behind the bumper guard. But this is super hard to get. This edge is punky, so I've got like a couple of tacks to hold the skin. That's good enough. And they saw me use the compressed air. It's a trick I learned watching Bad Chad, to blow it off to keep it cooled down. So I got it cooled down now. It's all welded in good, so I'm going to go ahead and just grind it up nice. But I've got to take the body hammer wherever that went. Here it is. I'm just going to try to work out this damage here on the deck lid. Hopefully I can get it to go without damaging the paint. I think I'll use this glove as some kind of hammering device here. See, I try to, can't really see what I'm doing though. Try to work the high spot out of this a little bit. Use this the on the glove technique. Oh. Oh, that made it worse. Son of a gun. Crap. This is got a shoot! Cracked the body filler. This is going from bad to worse. From bad to worse. Man, not good. See, this edge is all rusted and split. Oh, man. It's going to be down behind the bumper guard pretty much. When the car is down low, you're not going to be able to see most of it here. I got a little punky high spot there, and then man, I got a great big divot scratch in the deck lid here. I might get some pinstriping added here just to hide this away, because I could have somebody stripe a little bit to cover up this big nasty scratch here and take a little away from that. It's got a high spot right here, like a little kink, and then I don't want to keep beating on it and make this cracking worse. The whole bottom edge of this deck lid is punky in there. It's going to just get worse and worse and worse the more I mess with it. So I might try to get as close as I can, then just brush touch up the black paint and call it good for now. Because that, without cutting the whole bottom of this deck lid off and repairing it the right way, there's nothing really I can do about it. So I'm just kind of make it the best I can, and then we'll camouflage it, touch it up, and go from there, I guess. Okay, I got it all ground down, and I sanded a little bit of 80 grit. It's good enough for what it is on the inside of the deck lid. I'm not going to bother to body work any of this because you're not going to see it, and you know, with all the repairs need to be done, that can be done later. So right now I'm trying to approximate where the latch pin's going to be. I've got the old piece that I ground off, and that did something like that. So I'm just going to get a rough guesstimate of the center of the pin. It looks like it's about 1 inch from the center of the deck lid skin down. What I'm doing is I got a piece of half-inch, I think it's half-inch round bar, and I'm bending it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use 2 of these original holes from the original latch. Then I'm going to make a bar pin that bolts up. There's going to be a plate, and it's going to bolt there. And then this pin is going to come down like this and wrap around, and then get cut off here. And this will be my latching pin. And I'm going to make probably another bracket that welds, or that's going to weld to the latch pin, and then I'll put a couple of nut inserts in here and bolt it here and bolt it here. But I'll have the hole slotted so I can adjust this for my final adjustment. I think that'll make a stronger setup, and it'll have more mounting points and spread the load out for this pin. So I'm just bending this rod up a little bit by hand in the vise and trying to approximate where I'm got to be. And I think we're getting there, looking kind of close. Everything is upside down. Like designing on the fly here. Cut it right about there. Alright. So I'll cut this off. And then I'll try to get a plate made just out of like 1/8 inch plate welded to this with 2 holes. Put some nut certs in here first so I can I can tag the thing up there, then see how I can fit it from there. Okay, moving right along here, I've got my pin welded to my upper plate, and I've drilled the holes, and I also put my nut certs here in the deck lid, so I'll show you how that bolts on. But I realized when I was cutting into this pin, it's actually stainless steel. It's not magnetic, but it's probably a lower quality stainless, but it'll make a nice pin that'll, you know, make a good solid, it'll make a good quality pin. So I just got this tacked on. Let me go ahead and I'll bolt it up to the deck lid, and I'll show you what it looks like. I used 1/4-20 nut certs, so I got plenty of adjustment, and I drilled some 7/16 holes, so I've got plenty of adjustment in this thing to move it around. Get in there. Like that. They'll be able to go up and down side to side with it. Alright, here we go. I'm all wadded in the trunk. Let's go and check this out. This is tight. I'm trying to hold the camera. But I've got the pin on here. Got the latch. Actually, it was too low. I had to cut it and bend it up a little bit, but I think we're going to go and it's going to work. Is it going to work? Almost. Oh, it latched. The cord, the deck lid is open too far. The pin has got to go, or this has got to slide back quite a ways. Because I got you got a little bit of a gap. Hopefully it'll unlatch. Oh yeah, look at that. Wow, but it latches and it holds it good. Bam. And it pops open a little bit. So my theory is correct in how this is going to work. Look at that. Awesome. Bam. So what do I got to do? I've got to get this moved back some, or I got to bend the rod. At least I got proof of concept here. It does latch. I think if this was bent up some more, which I might be able to... Might even work better. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I fixed the lower latch here. I took it apart, and there's actually adjustment slots in this lower piece after I used the grinder, and I cut the bolts off, and I got this thing off of here. Then the top of this, where this bolts on, was trashed, so I welded a piece of 14 gauge steel. I made a new plate, and I put a couple of 1/4-20 nut certs in it. So I've got 2 1/4-20 bolts. I've got my latch here. I loosen up the bolts. It slides back and forth so I can adjust my latching action. So let's see if it will latch. Here we go. It's magic. Ready, ready, ready? Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Bam. It's latching like gangbusters now. Look at that. Perfect. It doesn't take any effort whatsoever to latch it. Awesome. Oh, I need that. Bam. So now I just roughed this all in, but that works good. This latch, I've got to weld the edges of it back up where I cut it to bend it. That's not a big deal. It'll take 2 seconds. I'll weld that back up, and this will be good. My cable still works fine. I've got a super solid base now. I have adjustment here. I have adjustment at my upper latch. Up here on the upper latch, everything's good here. All I'm going to do is I'm going to weld one more tab. I'm going to come over and put one more nut cert in here so it's got some extra action, but it's pretty stiff right now to the deck lid. But I'll add a third mount just to give it tons of strength, and then this should be perfect. And then I'll just paint all this black. Well, this turned into a crazy all-day project. I really wanted to gas the car up and get it running in this video, but you saw the amount of grinding and welding I had to do right here with the gas tank right here, so I'm glad I got this fixed before I put gas in the car. That would have been a major thing to try to fix later. So this really needed to happen, and this latch has always kind of been a trouble with this car. The deck lid would pop open sometimes, but now it's super solid, super structural, and it's adjustable, so I can adjust it. I'll get some weather strip adhesive. I'll glue the gasket in at some point and get that glued in. I use the trunk to hold it shut and hold the gasket in there, and then I'll fix that. But I'm confident that I got this thing fixed up, ready to go. I'm just going to clean it all up and paint it all black. Paint it black, hit the track, paint it black, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll. The next video, which I'm going to start filming right now, so you guys can stay tuned for that, is I'm going to gas this thing up and check for leaks, hook up the battery, set it on the, start it up. It'll see how it works, and then set it down, and maybe I might be able to take a little trip around the block in it. So, yeah, I'm excited to do that. So, I'll finish all this up. Thanks for watching. I'm not sure how long this video is going to be. I got to edit it still, but this got, let's see what time is it. I've got probably like 8 hours into fixing this and bleeding the brakes and all that. So I'm going to edit it down and make the video. And then next time we'll be firing this thing up with some gasoline in the tank. Money in the bank and gas in the tank. And we'll be firing it up and seeing if it'll move around on its own power. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And we'll see you again right here at the Quick Speed Shop.